Cynthia Shelton, and I am the founder of the National VegOil Board, which I started in November of this year to take care of the community that has developed around the veg oil fuel. I sold my car, my gas car, and decided I would not go back to gas, and I didn't want a car with a computer in it, so I bought this 1973 Mercedes. It has no computer in it, and I can actually work on it. And I wanted it to run on vegetable oil. It's a diesel. With computers comes difficulty in diagnosing, and it was beyond my ability to be a mechanic for my own car. And I am a power freak. Okay, so I like to have control of my own vehicle. I was in Massachusetts at the time. I bought the car sight unseen off eBay and flew out to Sacramento to pick it up, and converted the car in California, and then drove back to Massachusetts in the winter. I found a lot of people through the forums. The community is enormous and very willing to share information, and I found wonderful, wonderful people who I then visited along the way. I'd never met them, but they let me into their homes, and they let me stay with them, and let me play with their kids. And when I got home, I thought, why isn't there some cooperative venture that allows them all to work together and move forward on testing and on getting the industry recognized? You don't hear anything about veg oil, really. It's, for quacks and mechanics in their backyards and stuff, but it's not something that the major car industry is looking at. In the 70s, when it was popular the last time to do this, it was much harder to exchange information, and it's only because of the internet that it's grown as fast as it has. The mission is about education of the public and research and promotion. So the hope is that we will be able to help usher it towards the portfolio of alternative energies that are used in the United States. That means certification of the fuel. That's a tricky one, because waste veg oil can never be certified because there are too many different factors. You don't know what's going into that fuel. The kits with which you modify your car have to be certified in order for them to be legal. And also the oil that is used as fuel has to be certified as a fuel. What we're trying to do is provide enough resources for an independent lobbying group to take what we've collected and run with it. So this is the tank, and there's a hot stick inside the tank which heats up the fuel. And then this is the veg oil line. It goes into the Vormax, which is the filter, and there's a heat condenser on the top. And then it goes into an insulated just like pipe insulation that wraps around both coolant and the fuel filters. And it goes into a 3-port, and then it goes into the veg therm, which is the inline heater, and then it goes into the 6-port valve, and then into the engine. I have developed an evangelistic quality of needing to tell people about it. It's too cool. And people come up to me and they need to know. And they have various reactions. Some of them are angry. Why don't we know about this? I'm telling you. Why has this been kept from us? And some people are really excited, and some people are in complete denial. No, this can't work. You're lying. No, I'm driving. One of the reasons I drove across the country was to demonstrate that somebody who's not a mechanic and a woman, gosh, could actually function. But this is a lifestyle, and it doesn't need to be. I would like my trunk back. Vegetable oil is not the only answer, and it's not for everybody. It needs to be part of the whole portfolio of alternative fuels that exist, with ethanol and hydrogen if it ever occurs, and electric and solar and whatever else they come up with. It's not the only end-all be-all. It would be nice if it were less of a lifestyle, and that regular people could choose to use it, that you could go to any pump and get your vegetable oil fill up. It is not legal right now to run on vegetable oil. That's a problem. It's not specifically illegal, but we're taking our chances by running on it. That needs to change pretty quick. Right now, no individual has been approached by the EPA and fined, but the component makers have been approached, some of them. No fuel tax is being paid on the vegetable oil. I paid fuel tax on the diesel, and I would be happy to pay fuel tax on the vegetable oil if they would just assign it But to do that, they have to also recognize it and then certify it. So in 2 states, Wisconsin and in New Mexico, it is legal to use vegetable oil as a special fuel. I would like to make sure that what I'm driving on is not making a worse mess than the gasoline that I used to drive on. And those tests cost money, and they have to be done by certain credible organizations. The urgency for this is greater than it's ever been. Every single day I hear on the news something about oil, something about the cost of it or the environment. It is a current issue like none other, which is what really drives me in pursuing it. I think that there are probably people who have the money and the marketing ability and the customer sales ability to take this out from under the people who are independently working on it. I would like to see that we are large enough at the point where that happens, where those people are not shafted, and that all of their hard work all these years will go towards their benefit, and they'll get some credit for it. Biodiesel community has done a good job in creating a community sense. You know, they've got the forums and so forth. But veg oil hasn't really done that. And my theory on that is that veg oil by nature, because it doesn't take a lot of chemical, you know, it's not a chemistry project. You just pre-filter it and off you go. That it's more independent. I can do everything I need out of my trunk, and I don't need to set up a collective in order to get my fuel. Although it's nice, I don't need to. So I think people who run on straight vegetable oil tend to be more loners. That's just a theory. I have no proof of that. Last September, when fuel was $3 and over for diesel, I drove 3,000 miles from Massachusetts to California, and I spent a total of $18 on fuel. And that was half a tank of diesel. And yeah, I felt smug. I felt really happy about that. And people were really kind along the way. They either gave it to me or I picked it up from restaurants. And people were fascinated. There's a guy who followed me off the interstate, trailed me until I stopped, and he said, "I'm sorry, I'm not stalking you. I just really need to know what is this vegetable oil thing? I need to know more. Can I watch while you filter?"